Greetings, this is Starseeds Scotty sharing an astrological horoscope for April the 16th of 2019. Let's have a look at the transits, see how the energy is. So, the major theme is going to be the moon, which is in Virgo, will be opposing the Pisces stellium. So, it's going to be a lot about how we relate our personal, subjective routines, our daily experiences with our sense of higher power, our relationship to divine, Venus and Pisces, our how we think, our concepts, our beliefs of the divine, Mercury and Pisces. But the belief question is even more amplified because we got a T-square. So there's the moon in Virgo, 26 degrees, and it's squaring Jupiter in Sagittarius and opposing Venus and Mercury here. Actually, the T-square is not to the moon. The T-square is to Jupiter. Jupiter's at the top here, and then you see there's two squares, one going down to the moon, Virgo, then the other one going down to Venus and Mercury. And the opposition is what makes that T. So, yeah, a lot of, just like, you know, this Mercury retrograde cycle, the last couple of months, it's been in Pisces. There's been so much questioning of our experiences, of what's true, what's delusions, what's deceptions. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Who are we? That's a question that always comes up for me. But with Venus here, with Mercury, there's a lot more of an intimate connection of like, what is the value of our beliefs? What is the meaning of this? Here's some Palo Santo a friend gave me. They say when you burn things, it will clear the air. And I need to clear off them because in the Matrix, there's a lot of non-physical energies. And this is what Pisces and actually Virgo, the moon Virgo is, you know, pretty, can be very analytical, because that's the Virgo nature, because it's a co-ruler of Mercury with Gemini. Yesterday, actually, in the 15th, the moon Virgo was squaring Mars. So I don't know if you're feeling anxiety can come up with the square to Mars, a lot of indecision, but also a lot of investigation. Because Mars in Gemini wants information, wants to gather facts, wants to go forward so that we can, if we want to change, if we want to evolve, we need information. It's knowledge is information, wisdom is experience. So to gain wisdom, we need information with the experience. And I think that the moon square to Mars is doing that. But as it's progressed today, on the 16th, to this opposition Pisces T-square to Jupiter, I think the information we gathered and kind of it's a lot more expansive, because Jupiter is really that expansive planet of our higher self, of what is our beliefs, what is our purpose, what is our destiny. And then Pisces is like unity consciousness. That's the oceanic realm of where do we come from, like source and God. We'll use that word. But the biggest challenge, in a sense, is with Jupiter Pisces is religion and spirituality, faith and belief. Faith would be Pisces because it's trusting in, because it's, Pisces is an emotional experience. It doesn't see the fact. It's like, like a lot of people will say they don't believe in God because they can't see a God, so to speak. Or they don't believe in spiritual beings, angels, or things like this, elementals, nature spirits. They don't believe that because they can't see it. Because Jupiter wants to see things, because it's that axis of Gemini. It's the mental axis of left brain, Gemini, right brain, wisdom, Sag. And Jupiter wants, I feel, us to have more of a firm knowing. And with Venus there, that square to Venus, it's a knowing through a deep inner knowing, a feeling, an inner feeling. So the inner knowing of Jupiter, I think, is matched with the inner feeling of Venus. And how do we get there? I think it's all about a lot of, questions. Because the Venus in Virgo is analytical is a keyword for Virgo. Analyzes. I analyze. Jupiter is, the keyword for Jupiter is I see. This is visionary, the archer. And then the keyword for Pisces is I believe, because it believes without seeing, because it knows through its experience that there is this interconnected unity. So I think a good place for us to focus on is, because Virgo is always going to be questioning. It's always, it's in its nature. It's obsessive compulsive disorder is a very Virgoan trait. Can be paranoia as well. It can be, but that can be used in a good way, because astrology, there's always the shadow and the light and the night, the good and the bad, because this is a duality realm. But if we integrate the two dualities, we can create a trinary, triangle, which is what this kind of aspect is quite about. Two squares are point to Jupiter, which is that challenge with our beliefs. But the opposition to me is a complementary connection, because an old astrologer friend who introduced me years ago said that an opposition is not necessarily a negative aspect, because opposites attract. Male and a female are opposites in some ways, but they attract. And the opposition here with Virgo and Pisces is physical reality, Virgo, and spiritual reality, Pisces. Now, it can't be seen as they're separate, because physical is what we feel, we can touch, it's tangible, and the spiritual is intangible, it's ephemeral, it's something that we conceptualize, but also we feel it. That's the key word, because conceptualization is more Sagittarius, where it's like, I believe that there is a higher power because there's divine intervention every day. There's miracles I experience every day. Now that can be, construed as ideological, but there's much more tangible ways. I'm not too sure what comes to mind. I think we all have experiences in our life where synchronicity is a good example, where something happens that is almost impossible to be random. The Mandela effect is another one you may know. So, synchronicity, classic example is you're thinking of somebody and they will call you. That could be seen as a cause of effect, because if we think of someone energetically, we might actually be connecting with them on a etheric, like an energetic level, and then that's why they'll call us. But a synchronicity is where it's showing that there's a higher order of intelligence that transcends our mundane awareness. And then when we can see these connections of like, wow, they're actually there's more going on, then I think that will help us to navigate our confusion, because these squares are tough challenges. They're edgy, they're intense, and quite often we're just unsure of like things that happen. It's like we can easily be overwhelmed. We can when all we see is very limited, because with our eyes we only see 1 to 3% of the visible universe. This is scientifically studied stuff. So what about the 97, 99% that's out there that is scientifically out there? It's real, it's just we don't see it. And the key is feeling, intuition. So that's probably what I would say is something to focus on for this energy, because the moon is by its nature intuitive. It's our internal world. It's the reflection of the solar energy that comes inside of us, and then we emanate it out, or we cultivate it in. So the intuition of Virgo is when we see the outside things in our physical reality and connect the dots to something higher. Because Venus and Mercury, I think, want us to see how our thoughts really affect our relationships to ourselves, to other people, and to the universe at large. Jupiter is still quincunxing the North Node, so and the emotional thing that I did say is definitely a big factor. The quincunx is adjustment, so it's important for us to adjust our beliefs, how we are evolving, how we're expanding, to a place where we'll feel satisfied. So, for example, what I do every single day is I will meditate in nature. I make sure I do it when I'm working, I'll do it every 2 hours. When I'm off work, I'll go in nature every 2 or 3 times a day. And at nighttime, I'll meditate for several hours in nature. And I do this because my emotional body is really nourished just by being in nature, the fresh air, the magnetism from the earth. But as well as going to a place that we can consider our home, a second home. With the Cancer North Node, our destiny can be to learn from other people who have a shared similar emotional resonance, so shared interests. Because actually the moon of Virgo is sextiling this. So Virgo is all about the mind, but it's how we relate our mind to our body. So what I've been doing for years is learning about nutrition and healing. So applying essential oils to my hair or to my body can emotionally heal me, the moon and Cancer. But I'm doing this through my mental processing, Virgo. And it's a lunar thing because it's how the reflection of the external processes can subjectively expand and just make us feel better. So what I always do is I'll download several YouTube videos every day, and at nighttime I really enjoy listening to interviews and people who are evolving, people who are biohacking, which is to say they're altering your body to expand themselves, which is a very Jupiterian thing. And I just like to hear interviews because when there's a discussion, a dialogue, where someone's asking questions, it really is a way that it's kind of this energy of the opposition, because there's two different perspectives But they're obviously, because they're having a particular subject, they're wanting to raise light of understanding. And when a question is answered, it's not really the answer, it's the way that it's said. This is the linear connection, the tone. Because when someone's passionate about something, you can feel it. You don't even have to analyze. And so the moon in Virgo, it's trying to balance our mind and our feelings, and that is possible. But we're not gonna. Virgo is very, very, very physical, and sometimes it can get OCD and paranoid if it doesn't know. So we have to be okay with not knowing. And that's a big lesson that I've been practicing for a lot of my last 10 years of awakening. The answer I always get is the process of surrender. Now, surrender is a Piscean trait because it's about merging with the higher realms and the universe. But a distinction between surrender is submission, and it's not. It's different. People think surrendering is giving up. That would be, I would distinguish submission, which actually is quite a Virgoan trait. Submission or submit, because in our Piscean age, the last 2,000 years, in our collective psyche, I really believe there is just layers and layers of shadow content or trauma, and but also maybe some beneficial things of universe of healing Virgo and then spirituality Pisces. But in our collective unconscious, there's been basically it's sadomasochism and victim martyr syndrome. So the victim would be if Pisces is not connected to the universe, it can see itself as it's isolated and separate from everything. And then that will oppose directly to its energy conduit Virgo to being masochistic or submissive. That's the word. Submit. Which is when we don't know that the source is inside, or we don't have the perception of source outside, then it's a psychological thing where, you know, we just give our power away. And I'm telling you, I see it everywhere. And what's sad is that this is being manipulated. And so this goes actually to it's even orchestrated by beings who will take advantage. They will take the kindness of others as naivety, as weakness. And this actually can be connected with the moon trining Pluto in Capricorn here. Because if we do not take our power and claim it by our responsible actions, Capricorn, then it will be taken from us. And a similar expression is if we don't dream our own world, we will live someone else's dream, which is the sextile to Pluto and Venus. So yeah, Pluto is really involved in this this aspect as well. It's exact 2-degree sextile to Venus, and then it's going to be exactly trining. So the trine is supportive energy, though, and I think Virgo and Capricorn are both earth elements. So it's a good time to purify. So it's a good day to do a little detox, or for me, Plutonian transformation is intense. It's always about rapid transformation, and just for the fun of it, I'll just show you. One of my favorite things to do is to eat hot sauce on everything. This is habanero. Another one, sriracha. And the intense heat of chili pepper is transformative on a literal level, because it's like that sensation, but also on a healing level, because chili pepper stimulates the immune system and the cardiovascular system, which are circulation, and also enhances digestion because the heat of the pepper will stimulate stomach acid. And also there's pigments that are antioxidants. So that's maybe a kind of mundane example of physical transformation through intensity Pluto, but the healing element is knowing through the information of herbalism, Virgo. I have myself node in Virgo and my earth in Virgo, so I'm very, very accustomed to Virgoan energy. And it's very practical. It's really, really good to just take steps and be dedicated, because health is wealth, and it starts physically. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience, but we do practice in a physical world where there's cause and effect. If I take something, I can see there's going to be a direct result. Now, some of them are not instant, but they will. It is inevitable. So let's see if there's any other aspects. Yeah, so earlier on the week, the Sun was squaring Pluto, and that was quite intense. That questioning of our independence of Aries and our responsibility to this society, Capricorn, Pluto, Saturn, and but that's past. It's the Sun now is approaching Uranus. So next week I'll definitely do a video about that. That's going to be the first time in 80 years we've had Sun Uranus in Taurus. There's going to be a lot of curveballs with Uranus and Taurus, that's for sure. So it'll be very interesting. But as I see now, actually Mercury is almost. This is the last day of Mercury in Pisces. So this is definitely going to be highlighted mental energy opposing the Moon in Virgo. So it's a good time just to do a little bit more dreaming before Mercury's in Aries. It's going to be all action. Our mind is going to be very focused with what we're doing physically, how our intuitive, instinctive level. So yeah, and Mercury's in Aries is also going to be a lot more healing crisis type energy with conjoining Chiron. So in the next 2 days, when it conjoins Chiron, very good time to ask the question, who am I? And where am I going? And what is healing? What is with Chiron and Aries is the wind of the ego, of the self. And for me personally, it's been quite a lot about standing up for myself. Aries is the self, and we're in a world where we're conditioned to subjugate, or I don't know if that's the right word, but basically put ourselves to the back to be selfless. That would be really a Pisces thing, the selflessness. But if we don't take care of ourselves with self-love, then how are we expected to help anyone else? It's a fine line, because if we are self-obsessed, then we all know what it's like when the ego takes over, and there can be aggression, there can be greed, there can be dominance, there can be. So it really is that balance of enlightened self-interest and then enlightened spiritual service, which I'm all about. So yeah, I think I'll leave it for that today. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, question the inner world, the outer world, but make your feelings be the most important thing. We got to feel it to heal it. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next time, aloha from Hawaii.